G'day. Here in the Middle East, the Islamic festival of Eid.mov is just about the biggest thing on the annual calendar. Think Christmas and New Year rolled into one. Buying a live sheep for the feast is kind of fundamental to the tradition because it's wrapped up in the underlying story. Since 2008, a team of Australians has worked with Middle Eastern meat and livestock companies to ensure that where Australian sheep are sold to the public, they're treated properly. And this year I went along to see how they make a difference. Each year, around 3.5 million Australian sheep are exported to the Middle East, providing an important source of protein for families and communities across the region. While Australian sheep are in demand throughout the year, it's around the Eid al-Adha religious festival that demand peaks. During Eid al-Adha, Islamic people fulfil an important religious obligation by purchasing a sheep for sacrifice. A third of the meat from these sheep is kept, a third is given to friends and relatives, and a third is donated to poor people in their communities. Eid al-Adha is a family-focused event which culminates in a major dinner, featuring the meat of the animal purchased for the occasion as the main course. While today an increasing number of Middle Eastern people purchase their sheep through Islamic associations which process sheep on their behalf and donate the meat to the poor, some people continue to prefer to purchase their sheep directly from feedlots during this one time of the year. And the Australian livestock export industry employs a team of animal welfare specialists to work in the Middle East to ensure our sheep are handled and transported correctly during this peak period. Sharon Dundon has lived in Bahrain since 2007. She's busy year-round as a key contributor to the livestock export industry's animal welfare program across the Middle East region. But since 2008, she spent the 3 days around Eid al-Adha as part of an expanded team. Their task to help control critical loading points so that the sheep only go in the ute, not the boot.
Actually, it's getting better and better every year. This is our third year and it's just coming that little easier every year, so it's good.
The program ensures that Australian sheep can only leave the feedlot if they're in an appropriate vehicle, such as a ute. This involves the Australian team working with local staff to police the vehicles arriving at the feedlot, working with local stockmen to ensure Australian sheep are loaded using low-stress handling techniques, and educating locals on how to correctly handle Australian sheep. Andrew Slacksmith's day job is as a sheep geneticist at the University of New England in New South Wales, but he's travelled to Bahrain to work alongside Sharon and the rest of the Australian team during the Eid al-Adha period.
If a car does come in, I'll double check and see if they do have the proper facility, if they've got a gate, if they want 5 sheep in a vehicle that just can't possibly handle 5 sheep comfortably. I'll either suggest that they go away and get another vehicle or take less sheep or use some of the taxi services that are available here.
It was here in Bahrain that the program had its beginnings, thanks to the eagerness of Bahrain Livestock Company to embrace it.
They supported it and off we went, and we put together the advertising material, launched the campaign. It was strongly supported by Bahrain Livestock Company, and there it went.
A year later in Doha, the Qatar meat and livestock company Mawashi signed on, and the program began there too. This is the second year that a team of Australian animal welfare specialists has been working in Doha during Eid al-Adha, and they report massive progress this year.
This year has been a massive improvement. Last year we still had a lot of sedans coming, wanting to put sheep in the car boots, and a lot of people trying to tie up the sheep, both in the grounds and out of the grounds. We had a really tough job policing it. This year the general public is much more aware of what we're trying to do, and we've actually had a lot of people come up and congratulate us on our efforts.
It's been a more difficult process here in Qatar than in Bahrain, but we're taking the first step and many steps of making the improvements here to get it all right. So we're heading in the right direction, and we're making sure that we do improve the systems here. Part of helping those people with the wrong vehicles is mocking up some sort of some systems like an igloo. We'll be making some igloos to put the sheep in. It's a really neat little way, bit of ingenuity to to make it easy for those people without the right trays to take the sheep still.
Over in Bahrain, the shade cloth igloos were simply unnecessary because livestock taxis are available if you don't have the right vehicle. That's beginning to happen here in Doha too.
They're providing services for people who have not bought the correct vehicle, so that they're able to load the taxi for a small fee and take the animals to their house for them.
The Australian team is not operating alone. With all leave cancelled, the meat company Mawashi has deployed its entire staff, from stockmen to the accounts people, to pitch in.
90% of our consumption here is Australian sheep, merino, so that we need to keep it in a good health and good condition in cooperation with your people from Australia.
Another positive outcome of the campaign is that there's a lot more people who've decided that rather than take an animal home, they'll have it processed at the abattoir right here at the market. Other people have decided to get one where all the work's been done for them and just buy some freshly processed Australian sheep meat at the abattoir here. There's no doubt that that trend would happen anyway as people's thinking becomes more urbanised, but it's also clear that Australia's influence in this market is helping it to happen faster. Here in Doha, both of these trends are visible. The feedlot enclosure where the Australian sheep are sold is part of a vast livestock souk or market with 2 abattoirs on site. Every country in the Middle East is different, and individual approaches will be needed as the Eid al-Adha Animal Welfare Program is expanded into new markets.
Each country has its different characteristics and its different setup in relation to the feedlot and processing plants and where the sheep are sold. But we're committed to expanding the program, and it's provided real benefits to the sheep through that period because it's the most challenging time of the year.